Welcome to the YouTube channel for the Frontera Marketing Group. For this video tip, we're going to focus on building effective print advertising to ensure maximum positive impact for your product or service. Each advertising medium has its own unique strengths and limitations. In the case of print advertising, your first limitation is spatial. You only have a certain amount of space in which to convey your message. Your second limitation is time, and this is even more important because it's a variable limit. The average amount of time spent on a print ad is 10 to 12 seconds, but can range from 3 seconds to a maximum of maybe 20 seconds. The key is to make the best use of the first 3 seconds. If you capture the viewer's interest in 3 seconds, you'll keep it a while longer. If you don't win them in the first 3 seconds, that's all the time you'll get, and your message is not likely to get through. It's important to build your ad in such a way that it leads a viewer down the path they're willing to go, and the most important aspect of this is an appealing visual element. On initial contact with your ad, the viewer's eyes naturally jump to compelling visual elements, and will spend about 50% of their time scanning the visual imagery. This means it's very important to have visual elements that connect with the targeted consumer. To begin, a proper ad should have a main visual element and an additional 2 to 3 complementary elements. With the first impression, the viewer will generally flash on your main element and then jump to the starting point of your ad. If you don't have a good visual element, you'll probably lose your viewer almost immediately. If you can move them to the starting point of your ad, you've won the first battle. The starting point of your ad should be near the top of the page and left of center. This aligns with how consumers naturally follow the path of a print advertisement. From there, they'll work downward and to the right before reaching the bottom and circling back up to the left toward the main visual element. It's important to note that about half your viewers will move on before they begin to move toward the left, so it's essential to clearly mark the path with interesting content to bring them along. Here's a visual illustration of the approximate path a consumer will travel through a print ad. We refer to this as the visual power path, and you'll want to create an ad layout that takes advantage of this path to cover your key points. If you have something important to communicate, you won't want to tuck it away in the bottom left corner. Follow the line with your most compelling content, and you'll increase the likelihood that the viewer takes away key points. You might be wondering why we refer to consumers as viewers of print ads rather than readers of print ads. This is because ads are really viewed more than read. Words are scanned in short bursts, and they're rarely read in detail. In fact, there's an inverse relationship between the amount of copy in an ad and the amount of time they'll spend on it. Consequently, you shouldn't write your ad like an article. You should create 4 to 5 bolded phrases or sentences. If you try to force too much information into your ad, they won't remember any of it. And the more elements you put into your ad just decreases the impact of each of the elements. If you must share more information to get your point across, it's best to use your print ad to funnel them to another source for this information, such as a website. A lot of agencies will tell you print ads are just about growing brand awareness. That's certainly one of the benefits of advertising, but it's not the only one. A good ad should drive purchase intent, because at the end of the day, if your advertising doesn't help you sell more of your product or service, it's a waste of money. With that in mind, there are a few things to keep in mind regarding the impact of advertising. The first rule of print advertising is frequency. For maximum effect, consumers must see your ad more than once because, number one, brand familiarity increases with the number of exposures. Number two, the claims you make and how believable they are also increases with the number of exposures. And number three, and this is the big one, purchase intent also increases with the number of exposures. Finally, whether a hard sell or a soft sell version, it's important to put a call to action into your ads. It can be subtle, but it shouldn't be too subtle. You want someone to finish viewing your ad thinking it would be a good thing to buy. To summarize everything we covered, there's a method to building effective print advertising. You must have a strong and appealing visual theme. Next, you have to be clear and direct with your copy. You should limit the number of words and use short bullets or phrases. You should arrange your visual elements along the clockwise path that viewers want to scan, and we recommend getting your brand message in pretty early. Remember, if you try to do too much, they'll just turn the page, and you want to keep them around long enough to convince them to buy. This concludes our video tip on building effective print ads. If you have additional questions or would like further guidance, feel free to visit our website at www.fronterahouse.com and look through our articles on print advertising. You can also send us a direct inquiry through email. We can be reached at info@fronterahouse.com and we'll get back to you quickly. Thanks for stopping by, and keep an eye out for additional video tips on our YouTube channel.